76% of government workers will retire with a guaranteed paycheck for life. Only 12% of private sector workers will have that same safety net waiting for them. If you are in that bottom group, and statistically you almost certainly are, nobody sat you down to explain what that actually costs you over a 30-year retirement. Quick note before we dig in. This is general education, not personalized advice for your specific situation. Here's the part that should stop you cold. Workers who spend their entire careers without a pension are not just slightly behind the ones who have them. They are hundreds of thousands of dollars behind. And most of them will not find out until the math arrives uninvited at age 65. So where did the pension actually go? For most of the last century, your retirement was your employer's problem to solve. Then in 1978, Congress passed the Revenue Act, and tucked inside it was a small provision that created the 401k plan. It did not feel like a revolution at the time, it felt like a nice little side benefit. 48 years later, the numbers tell a different story. Today, about 76% of state and local government workers still have a traditional pension waiting for them. In the private sector, only 12% of workers do. If you work for a company, not the government, the pension is almost certainly gone from your future, and nobody held a press conference to tell you. You might be thinking, hold on, did I do something wrong here? Did I start too late? Did I pick the wrong career? You did not. The system quietly moved the goalposts, and most people were never formally taught how to manage this new responsibility. The risk that used to sit on your employer's balance sheet now sits on your kitchen table. Let me show you what that transfer is actually worth in dollars. Picture two neighbors, same age, same $90,000 salary, same $370,000 saved up in investments, same roughly $6,000 a month in spending. The only difference between them is one line on a benefits form from decades ago. One of them will receive $1,000 a month from a pension, the other will not. Now fast forward 10 years. Inflation keeps doing what inflation does, and their monthly expenses climb past $8,000. After Social Security kicks in, the person without a pension needs about $3,756 every month, coming from their investment portfolio. To safely generate that amount for 30 years, they need a portfolio of about $1.13 million sitting there on retirement day. The neighbor with the pension? That $1,000 a month of guaranteed income covers part of the gap automatically, and their portfolio only needs to be about $827,000. That is the same lifestyle, the same retirement, the same monthly check at the mailbox. The only difference is roughly $300,000 in required savings. One line on a form, worth $250,000. So here's the honest question. If you are the neighbor without the pension, how do you close a $300,000 gap? This is where most retirement videos start selling you something. I am not going to do that. I am going to walk you through 3 real moves, and I am going to be honest about the trade-offs on each one. Before we get to them, I want to bust a myth that is secretly making this whole problem look bigger than it really is. You have probably heard the rule that says you need to replace 80% of your pre-retirement income to live comfortably. That number is not based on actual retiree data. When researchers study how real retirees actually live, the number lands closer to 65 to 75% of pre-retirement income. Now, to be fair, some of that lower spending is not a free choice. Some retirees cut back because they are afraid of outliving their money, not because their priorities changed. I want to name that honestly. But even accounting for it, the 80% rule was never research. It was a rough guess that turned into industry gospel. If your real target is closer to 70%, the gap you are trying to close just got meaningfully smaller before you save another dollar. Okay, the 3 moves. Move 1 is the one almost everyone underuses. Social Security is the closest thing to a pension that most Americans will ever get. About 9 out of 10 retirees receive it. 3 out of every 5 retirees get more than half their income from it. About 25% of retirees rely on it for 90% or more of their total income. Your claiming strategy here, the age you start, how you coordinate with a spouse, matters more than almost any investment decision you will ever make. The specific action, the thing you can literally do this week, is pull up your Social Security statement at ssa.gov. It takes about 3 minutes, and most people have never once looked at their own number. Move 2 is creating your own guaranteed income where none exists. Delaying Social Security boosts your monthly check for life, which is essentially buying yourself longevity insurance using money you already paid in. Annuities can play a role too, but I want to be straight with you. Annuities come with real costs, real inflexibility, and most do not protect you from inflation. They are a tool, not a cure. Your situation will differ from the next person watching this, so this is a starting point, not a plan. Move 3 is the one nobody wants to hear. Adjust the target itself, not just the savings rate. If the honest replacement number is 70% instead of 80%, your required portfolio shrinks. If the life you actually want costs less than the life you assumed you would have, the math changes in your favor. This is not settling, this is designing. Now you might be thinking, why is this only getting harder? Now let's take a serious look at the demographics. We used to have around 5 working people paying into the system for every retiree. That ratio has collapsed over time, and it keeps heading toward roughly 2 workers per retiree in many developed countries. Birth rates in many places have dropped to around 1.4 children per woman, which is well below replacement. Pay-as-you-go systems depend on more workers behind you than retirees in front of you. That math does not hold anymore. This is not going to fix itself in a memo from Washington. So here's the real reframe. The question is not, how much money do I need? That is the wrong starting point. The right question is, what kind of life do I actually want? And what does that specific life cost? Build the life first, then fund it. Early action compounds into options. Delay compounds into constraints. And the only variable fully in your control starts the day you decide to look at the numbers honestly. Before you close this video, do one thing. Pull up your Social Security statement today. Write down the number. That is your starting line, and most people never look at it until they are already retired. One more thing. This has been general education, not personalized advice. Before you make any real decision about claiming strategies, annuities, or retirement targets, talk to a qualified financial advisor who can see your full picture. A 10-minute video cannot see the details that change everything. If this hit differently than you expected, share it with someone who has been avoiding this conversation. And in the comments, tell me, are you the neighbor with the pension or the one without? Your answer changes what you do next. Because here's the setup for the next video in this series. The retirement industry keeps pointing at $1 million as the finish line. But the actual savings numbers for real American households look nothing like that headline. The next video opens by telling you what typical retirees really have and why the $1 million target may be the wrong finish line entirely.